What's the over-under on how many minutes we get into this before we can make Colson cry?
Before we can cry?
Let me check the line.
I'm pretty emotional right now.
Vegas says 4.5 minutes.
I feel like the over-under is like... if your bet is 4, that's fine. I feel like the over-under is like 10.
Yeah. Well, see, I've got the over-under on yelling at about 4.5, but the crying comes later. Once he gets yelled out, he reverts to tears.
Gotcha.
You guys know me so well.
But the great thing is that by the end, he will have convinced himself that we've got the Bucks exactly where we want them.
A sweep.
Yeah. We're going to do a douchebag sweep. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, no. Are you guys going to make me sadder than I already am? Is that what's happening?
Hopefully.
Sweet.
That's what friends are for.
That's right.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk off with some shoes on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler. Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is April 21st, 2024, and this is episode 699, coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss just the one thing, the Pacers-Bucks Game 1 playoff matchup. Joining me this show are all three of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jamison Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up? Undebeatable shout out to my brother-in-law and my niece and nephew. Came over to celebrate Passover, and happy Passover to everybody.
Happy
Shout out.
Passover. From Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles. It's John, diminishing returns, Colson.
That is definitely true. What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out this week to my lovely lady friend, Erica, who put on a Pacer t-shirt and came and watched this sad-ass game with me.
Shout out.
Shout out.
And from Tacoma, Washington, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What's going on, fellas? Shouting out Game 2. Game 2.
Tua.
Game 2, yeah. It's got to be better than what we saw. Well, before we get into what had happened, you can, if you'd like to support our show, we are the longest running Pacers podcast, and you can head over to patreon.com/undebeatables and support us for as little as $1 per month. Patrons will get access to our Slack, where you can see our exasperated, sad messages during the games.
It's really good mini existential crises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do I do this to myself?
All right, team. So we all just watched the first game of this potential 7-game series. The Bucks took down the Pacers 109-94, and boy, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, closer than it sounds.
It really was. The first half, Pacers were down 20 or so in the first half, and Lillard was
30.
Yeah, 30 points in the first half, and whatever's past on fire. He was glowing, white and red and blue, purple. I don't know. He was hitting everything. Ends up with 35 in the game because he didn't have to do much in the second half.
Didn't he have 35 in the first half?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He didn't score.
He scored 0 points in the second half.
0 points in the second half. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Because he didn't.
He had no reason to do any more.
Yeah. And also, from the Bucs side, a big game, a quieter game, but a big game out of Chris Middleton, 23 points, 10 rebounds. On the Pacers side, I mean, the highlight, if you want to call it that, was Pascal Siakam, who was great. He was 36 points, 13 rebounds. And outside of that, I mean, Turner was all right with 17 points and 8 boards, but it was quiet, really, from everybody else offensively. We were in trouble offensively. I guess that we were struggling to score, and we defended. I mean, besides letting Lillard go wild, I mean, the score itself wasn't out of range for what the Pacers have done this year and with games that they've won.
Oh no, that's a great number for us.
Mm-hmm. But we just could not score. We were terrible from three. We're missing everything from three. It was. We end the day 8 of 39 for 3-point, which just over 20%.
I mean, to put it in perspective, we missed our first 13, so we shot okay after that.
Yeah. We did. By the way, we did win the rebounding battle, 50-47.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, 14-0 boards, not like us.
We did have some long offensive possessions where we were scoring, but yeah, we were behind big early, and we were just trying to dig out almost the entire game. So, yeah, Jason, I mean, what did you see there, and what do you think we can do? It's game one. I mean, it's game one in hopefully a longer series. But what did you see today that didn't go right, and what do you think we can do to adjust? I mean, this is a series of adjustments, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I saw a team that was either in their first playoff appearance or hadn't seen the playoffs for 4 to 5 years against a team with championship pedigree. I mean, the Bucks came out and they were ready to play at a playoff level, and that's different than the regular season. And the Pacers came out and were nervous AF. I mean, you mentioned that we were 0 of 13, Harper, to start the game, but I bet if there were a statistic for distance from the center of the basket that your shot landed, I think we would have set the record. I mean, Miles Turner shot a 3-pointer that almost missed the backboard. It was so far away.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the only one.
No,
a lot of back of rim stuff too. There's clearly a lot of
back of rim, a lot of
basket
side
back a couple feet. We might have done a lot.
It was
better.
it was just
a lot of
guys
backboard and
super
coming
amped
off
up and not prepared for the defensive intensity that happens in the playoffs. People play defense at a completely different level, and it took us by surprise, I think. Which makes sense for a team that's never played in the playoffs before. This is Halliburton's first time. This is Nembhard's first time. This is essentially Neesmith's first time that he's been in the playoffs in any measurable minutes. That's 3/5 of our starting five. And, they, to their credit, sort of weathered the storm, if you will, for the first 6 minutes or 7 minutes until they started rotating. And I was like, whew, we dodged a bullet there. I expected us to I expected us to be nervous and make a lot of mistakes and all that kind of stuff. But then the second unit came in, and then just got.
They
the
were
doors
also
blown off
super
of them.
nervous.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
missing everything.
Give like a 12-0 run out of a timeout or something. It's not great.
Not good. Not good.
I don't know how
Not
many
good,
times
Bob.
Jalen Smith passed it to the other team, but at least twice.
Too many. There were a fair amount of turnovers.
Yeah.
Like not pretty ones. You know.
Halfway through the first quarter, I think we were averaging more than one a minute, so that's not great.
Well, and you were talking about hitting the backboard on 3-pointers. Toppin definitely did that 3 or 4 times. You know, I mean, just our bench was not ready for it, but we still survived this thing, right? Like Dame time, he gets fouled on a BS 3-pointer, which they said they're trying not to do anymore. The refs are not supposed to call this, but Lillard saw 3 free throws go down, and now he's on fire. And we still were hanging in. We were hanging in until we weren't.
Yeah.
Because
Dame just went bananas. I mean, like...
Well, he was supernova.
Yeah, he was doing Dame Lillard things that he does in the playoffs, so...
But against a team that can't hit the broadside of a ball, I mean, we couldn't hit anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is one of those situations where no one had to play at least a little bit of defense. Sure would have came in handy. I mean, it's, teams are going to defend you in the playoffs, and most of the time we sure know how to fill it up. But when that's not going, it'd be great to have another club in the bag, and we just had no idea what to do to get Lillard off his game at all in that first half. And they took advantage of us. It was 69-42 with the break. And
nice.
That's not where you'd like to be going in the locker room.
So
No.
one of the things, though, it wasn't just that we had no plan when we couldn't hit 3-pointers or we couldn't defend Dame Lillard. It was that we just, gave the ball to Miles Turner to start running plays at the top of the key, which I've watched this team all season, and he's trying to be a vet and trying to make something happen, but we just completely got out of our offense completely in the middle of the second quarter when the starters came back in after the bench had sort of crapped the bed, and it was just a panic mode. It was just crazy. I had never seen this team play offense like this. We start early, and then if we don't, we run really good sets. And we were making Miles Turner ball handle at the top of the key.
Yeah, I thought Halliburton was particularly tentative.
Tentative is a very nice phrase. I am very concerned, very upset. This man is our franchise, and where was he? Joe, that was your question on Slack. Where was Halliburton?
Well, I mean, part of it was the defensive pressure
getting bodied up
from Beverly,
super
right?
well.
But as you say, he's our franchise. He's supposed to be our All NBA guy. He's All-Star starter. You have to expect that that's going to happen. And it was his very first playoff game, and I think it was a deer in the headlights situation, kind of.
He was not up for the moment. He was not
at all, which is strange for him. I think usually he thrives in these pressure cooker situations. I mean, we saw it in the in-season tournament. He was really shined in the bright lights and whatnot, and I completely expect that his performance in Game 2 and the rest of the series is going to be completely different. I think that he's the type of player that knows exactly what happened.
But he didn't take shots. It's not like he was missing shots. He didn't even take them.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it wasn't like his passing was brilliant. I thought he was hitting guys late. He was not. I mean, a lot of
some of the worst turnovers I've seen him have all season. Yeah.
There were a couple look-offs where he got an open look, or he got to the open pass because of his look-offs, which is one of his tricks. But outside of that, he had nothing. His bag was not there. This was a mess for him. And you look at Pascal Siakam, who Grant has been there before and has won a championship. He was the only person on this floor that, outside of Miles Turner, who we were asking him to do way too much. but he is the veteran on the team, and he tried to step up. But, I mean, I was blown away by no one could meet the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Pascal Siakam and maybe Miles Turner.
Yeah, I mean, super young team on the road playing a team with championship pedigree. It's not that surprising. And, you know,
It was
Halliburton
just
certainly didn't
devastating.
have a
Maybe not
good-
surprising, but devastating.
Halliburton certainly didn't have a good game, but his teammates weren't doing a hell of a lot to bail him out. Siakam was getting done what he was getting done in ISOs and cross matches. I mean, you know, that's not the whole game plan.
And mid range shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the other factor I think is that this young team who's in the playoffs for the first time and has no idea what the level is, just got smoke blown up their butt all week by a bunch of people that said
favorited to win this
I
game.
don't know how how Milwaukee is going to deal with their athleticism. I don't know how Milwaukee is going to stop them. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Milwaukee's just you know blinders on, focused, looking at game film, being professional basketball players, and ready for the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, this was the thing that I feared coming into this series, and we make this mistake, you know, as a basketball analyst, collective every time. We're like, oh, okay, this team's really good. They played great in the regular season, and, you know, whatever. You know, it happened to Orlando. You know, it's their first time in the playoffs, and they got their butts kicked by a Cleveland team that's not even that good, but they've been in the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. Like, they know what, and it's just, I think it's a thing that this is why we wanted this team to lock up the 6th seed so that we get this 7-game series, right? Even if we lose this, the experience is invaluable, right? Like, this is stuff that you can't teach. You can't simulate this in practice, right? It's seasoning, exactly, right? And, you know, if our long-term goal with this team, you know, assuming Pascal Siakam wants to stick around after this shit show of a game, but is that he and Halliburton are our cornerstone for a team that's contending for a title. And, you know, these are the first baby steps, and it's brutally hard right now, for sure, but it's necessary. So,
well, you say you can't simulate it, but it seems like Milwaukee did an awfully good job simulating us in practice, because they did a really, really good job of keeping us out of transition.
Yeah, their transition defense was amazing. I am curious to see if over the course of the series that changes a little bit.
Well, we got to do better.
Well, we got to do better, and you know, asking them to run back like that.
Yeah,
they're an old team.
Yeah. One question I had real quick was I was a little surprised to see how deep we went. The rotation was, you know, we were 10 deep or so.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys think, Colson? I mean, did you think that? I guess, were you fine with us going so deep into the rotation?
Well, no,
I think that we need to tighten it up.
You know, I mean, I think,
and there's also it's a game one, and do you want to see how this works?
That's exactly right. I mean, you're down a lot by, you know, by the time you brought out your second unit. You go, maybe we should tighten this up, and we can only go 6 deep. But the thing is like, I thought McConnell played hard and played well, and he missed some of the shots he normally misses. He didn't get his steals, but like, he was still doing the things he did. I was surprised by the Dougie McBucket's appearance. I thought the Shepherd minutes were good. I mean, he had a big 3, and then he missed a couple, and he had a couple bad turnovers. But he was fighting hard on defense. He had a couple bad fouls. But, like, this is invaluable, you know, time for a rookie. And he's good enough to see minutes for us. He's been part of one of the best benches, you know, in the NBA all season. So he deserved these minutes. I think, you know, just really nobody stepped up. Isaiah Jackson had a few minutes. My concern was the McDermott minutes. I'm not sure why they're there.
Well,
and I also understand that you're trying to get Shepherd a couple minutes, but he probably is not going to see a ton of minutes down the street. You know, as this series goes further, Yeah, I think this probably gets tightened to an 8-man route, but not yet. I see why we did that. I'm not mad about it.
I mean, I
You gotta try everybody.
I thought that the McBuckets and Jackson moves were a grasping at straws situation.
We had 3
But-
guys. We had 5
See if
guys
somebody's
play
hot.
30 minutes. 5.
Yeah, see if somebody's hot.
So we did tighten up the rotation, but then we just had to
Yeah,
throw some
yeah.
stuff against the wall.
I mean, it was
Siakam played
literally
40.
Yeah, the wheels were coming off in that second quarter, and Carlisle was just like, you could go try.
Right. See if you can hit a
These
shot.
guys suck. Go in
Can
there.
someone hit a shot, please?
And Jalen Smith, I mean, he played great in the second half, but the first half was just like
Ugh.
he looked like Bambi out there.
He did.
It was
Yeah.
nuts. So that's why Jackson saw a couple minutes. I disagree. I think Shepard's gonna have to see minutes in this series. I mean, 10 to 15 minutes a game.
Well, yeah, no. They'll be shortened a little bit, though. I think.
Sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but he's the only wing bench guy that we have. Basically, it's
And
him and McBuckets.
he did hit
So,
a shot, and he
unless
did
you
play
want
defense.
Nemhard and Neesmith to play the entire game, like he's gonna have to see the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw last week and talked about in that Cleveland game, Rick Carlisle did not. I mean, he played 10 guys when the Cavs were shortening up. I think he's committed to playing our bench in these series and hoping that as it goes long, it pays dividends. And obviously, these guys will play. These guys will be crushing it at home. It's going to be a totally different team in the field house. But we got to go out and split this thing in game 2.
We
before
have
can
to.
get
We
it.
have to split this thing. Without Giannis, we have to split this.
And we don't know his status for game 2 at this point.
Oh, we do. It said he's still the Greek freak.
No, I mean, the chance to win the series as this inexperienced young team is to steal one at home. At their place.
At
In Milwaukee.
Well,
And
by at home, you mean on the road?
right on the road, right
Yeah.
by their home. I've just watched them play at home, so that's where I'm at there.
And by definition, because
Yeah,
okay.
we need to
Right, 'cause
to
we don't
steal
have the
one
Twitter name.
at their house is what I mean.
Harper,
And-
simmer down with the statistics.
Keep that.
simmer down with your harsh reality. Cold, brutal.
I mean,
I-
none of us picked a super short series here.
No,
right?
no, we
Except
didn't.
kind of Coulson. But this is a very good team, and
I know.
they have a lot of pride.
They won a championship like 3 years ago. They're really good.
Yeah.
That's right. With much of this core. I mean,
Yeah. Middleton and Lopez and these guys were on this team.
And it turns out that Damian Lillard is really good in the playoffs,
We already knew that.
which
yeah, exactly.
perhaps we underestimated when previewing the series. Yeah.
I predicted he'd go for 40-1, and sadly, this was not that game.
Right.
I mean, I think this was that game, but he didn't have to do it.
I hope.
I thought he was. I said he's going to go for 50, and then he had 35. Well, we had 38 at half, and he had 35 at half.
We had 42.
42,
We threw in a few buckets at the end
Okay,
to make
okay,
it look
okay.
a little bit better, but
He did tie us to 32 or 33, though.
Yeah.
But we easily eclipsed as a team what he did on his own
I mean, easily
in the first
by-
half.
So, and I do want to say silver linings. I did like the way that the team responded out of halftime. That third
Oh,
quarter was
agreed.
pretty amazing. We cut it to 12 by the end of the first quarter, or by the end of the third quarter. That's striking distance. That's a game.
I
And
told Eric, I said, if this is under 15, we still have a chance if we go into the fourth. But
Yeah, and then-
there's no
and then
room
they
for
came out
error at
and-
that point.
and hit a couple threes in a row on kind of one play was amazing, and then another play was like kind of off a broken play, and it was kind of like, well, that's sort of the backbreaker right there. But I thought they fought well, and really did a great job on the glass actually, which was key. And defensively, I think we held them to under 20 in the third quarter or something like that.
14
Well,
in the
if-
third, yeah.
If they
14.
score 109, we should win that game. We're the highest scoring team in the NBA, as they told me multiple times during the broadcast.
Right.
As we put up under 100 points.
Yeah, obviously, we're not going to win a ton of games with our defense scoring 94 points through 40 minutes. That's it's not a recipe for success for us. But we're gonna be more comfortable in game 2. We're gonna be more prepared for the on-ball pressure that Halliburton sees. Although he's gonna get a bunch of different looks for sure. That's not going to change over the course of this series or the playoffs, for that matter. But his team's going to be there to help pick him up, and I think we'll give him a better run in game 2.
So I agree that we made great adjustments at halftime. I think Rick Carlisle is one of the best coaches in the league, and I think he's got a great coaching staff. I do think we'll be prepared for game 2. Why were we not more prepared for them taking Halliburton out of the game? I'm concerned about. I know that this is his first playoff game. I understand. I get it. He's a young kid. Bright lights. The defensive pressure is different. All of this stuff, but he was absent from this game, and I don't understand how we didn't prepare him for the fact that they might take the ball out of his hands, and how can he be more effective? How can he be cutter off the ball? Nembhard is a point guard. Can we make Halliburton a cutter at that point? Like, what? How were we not prepared for this? Take the ball out of Halliburton's hands and just get so destroyed by that. It's just it's really upsetting. I'm upset at Halliburton, and I'm upset at the coaching staff. Look. I thought it was important for us to split this, this Milwaukee homestand or whatever. It's the road stand.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's important for us to take one of these 2 games, and I really hoped that we would take this first one, and maybe we respond and have a great, game 2. But I am concerned by how poorly we were prepared for what the Bucks threw at us.
I mean, it's a good point you bring up. I will counter with the fact that we had probably 8 wide open looks from 3-point range in the first quarter that we didn't make.
That we just threw at the backboard. Yeah.
If we make a quarter of those, I think it's a different situation. I mean, I thought that Yeah, I put it towards, I thought, tentativeness from Halliburton.
Yeah. And I think as a coach, you want to be a little bit careful, going into a guy's, first playoff game, being like, here's what's going to happen. I need you to go out and score, I need a 40-10-10 out of you to win this game. Like, I don't.
What I'm saying,
game.
no, my
so
point is the coaching staff should say, hey, look.
That you put on the guy going into it. And so I think it's fair to kind of let the game come to him and see what happens, because you don't expect him to go nuts and all of his guys be terrible and win game 1 on the road necessarily. So I think it's okay to let the series come to him, and make the adjustments and go out there and tackle game 2. I think that's completely fine.
No, I agree with that. I think what I'm saying more is that, like, I wish that coaching staff said, hey, look, they're going to double you or they're going to play you real close. Let's figure out ways to counter that, in a way that I mean, I'm with you.
They did. Nobody hit any shots.
Yeah. I didn't find him to be very. I didn't find him to be aggressive. If he's supposed to be my best player,
agreed.
Siakam was aggressive.
Yeah.
Siakam was aggressive. Miles Turner tried to pick it up, even though that's not his personality. I thought he was trying to do too much, but like nobody else was doing anything. Nobody wanted the ball. It was hot potato. And Halliburton needs to have that ball in his hand and do something, and he wasn't doing it. And
absolutely, no, I totally agree. And the hopefully, the reason that we have Carlisle on staff and we're paying him money is that he can make these adjustments from game 1 to game 2. And it's been a long time since the Pacers have been in the playoffs, and the last time the Pacers were in the playoffs, our hope for coaching adjustments on the offensive end from game 1 to game 2 was in the basement. So, hopefully we see a little bit something different, some wrinkles basically, and a better, I think the guys will be a little bit more comfortable in that playoff setting.
Can't look any less comfortable.
Yeah, we looked real freaked out. We looked like we'd never seen a basketball court before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Playoffs, baby.
I think part of that is, part of that is just you can learn a lot on in the film room, but some of that stuff is
You just got to go out and win your matchup, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lillard isn't this way because he watches more film than other players. Like, it's his ability, and he's done this a bunch of times. Like I've seen him say goodbye to several teams as he, hits a game winner, and none of these guys except Siakam have had that experience at all. So what I'm hoping for is it's really just saying, hey, we left some feces on that mattress, and we're gonna go out there next game and do a much better job, and hopefully we'll see much closer.
So much less feces.
So much less.
Well, our bowels were evacuated in this game. So.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we'll see a closer representation to what we are used to for this team in Game 2 and beyond, as we work on the douchebag sweep.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Yep. So Pacers next game Tuesday at Milwaukee. 8:30 tip on the East Coast. So it'll be a late night, but hopefully a fun night. And we are planning to be back with you guys after that game.
Yeah.
So I won't belabor the rest of the schedule. Although we do have the rest of the schedule. We play again Friday and then Sunday, right?
Is that all they've given us, the first 4 games?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at this point, it's only a 4-game
That's right.
series. Oh, man.
5, 6, 7 still, if necessary.
Yeah, but on 4:30, 5-2, and 5-4, if needed.
Mm-hmm. We have the dates, right?
Yeah.
So.
There's a shooting pain behind my eye right now. I'm just really not.
Man.
It's not great.
Is it shooting better than the team was?
Way better.
Seems a lot more accurate.
It's very accurate right now.
Wow.
It's
You
like
know what,
no,
Colson?
no, it's like it's I've watched this team all season, and like, look, we lost against bad teams a lot. We did that, but the reason we did is because we just like didn't play defense. I thought this team played hard defensively, but offensively, it was like watching a different team.
When today?
Yeah, we played decent defense. Like, compared to, like...
I mean, we managed to string, like, 8 minutes together, maybe?
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
in the
like...
second half, yeah.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, compared to watching us lose against the Bulls or, or letting the Hawks score 147 on us even though we won or whatever. Like, I felt like there was, we missed some rotations, sure. Yes, there wasn't... We're not a great defensive team, but, like, I thought we played hard defensively. It was like watching a different team offensively. We didn't run, and I know that the Bucks took that away from us, but like we also just didn't run sets, and we, and granted, I know that us missing those 3-pointers is nerves, but it was a frustrating game to watch this team that has done something all season and done it well to just fall apart. I guess that's what playoff defense does to you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if there is a little bit more of that called offense. Because most of our offense is sort of a read-react kind of offense. Yep. They kind of run the weave at the top, and whatever opens up, opens up. But we do have a few scripted plays, and those, I felt, had a little bit more success in the second half. Those
Agreed.
Siakam, Halliburton pick and rolls, and the pick and roll with Turner and Halliburton as well. So I wonder if we'll see a bit more emphasis on that.
Less read and react and more go to the play,
Run a play.
Because you're freaked out, so just go to what you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joe, Joe,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good, buddy.
Well, I'd say don't panic too much because I think Halliburton's going to respond here. Halliburton was just named to Team USA for the
Oh yeah, shout out.
so he
Did they watch this game before they gave him that?
No, it was before the game.
Okay,
It was
that makes
days
more
before.
sense.
Yeah. Also, it's
Right.
not based on one game.
Mm.
So, look, everybody, you're most of these guys don't have any playoff experience, and you're mad at them for playing like they didn't have any playoff experience.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm being unfair.
But
come
they
on,
do
guys. Grow up. Do better.
they do need to learn from this and respond and go out there in game 2 and play like they've been playing. Like we owned the Bucks this year, and they're without their, I guess, arguably best player.
I mean, yeah, Dame wants to put up 35 on us in the first half, so maybe. But no, look, I guess the point is that I'm not trying to be too critical of these young players, and I want them to get their seasoning, and I know I don't want to put too much expectation on them on all of that nonsense that we do as fan bases and we do as analysts. But I still want to.
Well, of course, we all want to win. But... and while we're mentioning other news from the week, I'd like to give a anti-shout out to Greg Doyle, who made some news this week in the presser with Caitlin Clark after she. Yeah, shout out to the Fever, by the way, who made a correct decision and drafted Caitlin Clark with the number 1 pick. Yeah, what was it in the presser? He was like, "Oh, what's this?"
No, he
heart
gave
symbol
her the heart symbol. He
that-
did it
that
to
you
her.
do? What's that? And she's like, "Hey, you like that?" He's like, "Oh yeah. If you do that to me every game, we'll be just fine," or something like that, right?
Yeah. He said, "I'm really glad you're here in Indiana," or whatever, as well. Like it did it. He sounded creepy, and then he had to write an entire article in the Indianapolis Star Indy Star to apologize because it became national news.
Yep.
He says that he's socially awkward and has been awkward with every player he's ever interviewed, but none of them are women, and so now he's being vilified for it.
Having to learn how to do that.
But he's still wrong, and he apologized.
Well,
But
that's good.
apparently he's like that with the boys too, is what he says.
Okay.
Shout out Greg Doyle. Still weird?
No shout out Greg Doyle. Like we almost all of his takes are bullshit, and we don't like this guy in the pod. Like let's let him suck on this one too. I mean, good on apologizing, I guess, but like suck.
sure.
Go ahead and suck.
But be better, man. Come on.
Be better. And that's what he said. He was going to try to be better. So.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, there's cool news. I guess to end on a good note, there's been a bunch of cool things about Clark and the Fever, namely the lots of the away games are There's going to be some of them are moving to larger stadiums because they're going to be able to fill them.
Yeah, the Wizards, or not the Wizards, the Mystics, I guess.
Yeah,
They sold out they play in like the Wizards practice arena or whatever. They sold that out in like a minute and a half or something. And so they were like, let's move it to Capital One Arena.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
yeah, and there's several other places that are trying to figure out how to do that too. So probably a good idea to fill those seats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's hope the Pacers get their big boy pants on. Start figuring out how to play playoff basketball. Because otherwise it's going to be a short... it's going to be a short playoff series for us. We gotta do better.
Gotta be better, man. Got to be better.
Be better.
Be best.
All right, team. Well, until the next
Thanks,
show,
Melanie.
You can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We are on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website is theundebeatables.com. There's also a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. And email. Shout out at theundebeatables.com. Merch is at the website /store/Melania.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Leonard. Turn out the lights. The party is over.
Nothing. We're all still in stunned silence at the amazing quality of that outro.
Oh, was that one of your favorites of all time?
It was.
Oh, nice. I was in stunned silence after the end of the Pacer game, too. Does that mean the same thing?
Same, but different.
Yeah.
There were Pacer fans at the bar, and I asked them, I told them to listen to this show.
Okay, good.
We'll
try to
set
make
you
up. We'll throw you a lot of alleys, and hopefully you can oop them and really impress them.
Speaking of alleys, I'm going to pull up the box.
Of course, if I'm passing like Halliburton tonight, they're going to go
boy.
Well, you know,
his best alley-oop of the night was his missed layup for Siakam to rebound. Boy. Ooh. Have we not signed Pascal Siakam yet? Because I'm real nervous that he's like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm the only good player on this team.
Yeah, well, I think we're definitely going to have to play him the Uber Max.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this is costing us money right now.
We're watching. Yeah, the Simons are watching their bank account go down currently.
But it's okay, because Halliburton's not going to make the All-NBA team.
That's
so
true.
It saves
That's
us $40 million.
That is true. But people voted on it before this game, though.
True.
Ugh. God. I mean, I definitely am going to cry on this pod. And I'm definitely going to poop in somebody's shoes. Erica just gave me a real stink look. Apparently her shoes are behind me, I guess.
Yeah, your shoes are definitely closest. That's a problem for her.
Yeah.